Hey, everybody, welcome back to Gardens, the Untold Story. I'm your host, Ken Somerville, my co-host and good friend, Andy Lopez, the Invisible Gardener. And we're talking about his book over the next few months, going through it chapter by chapter. Now, today's chapter is talking about natural tree care. So, yes, there's the book. You guys can go to his website and you can
It's
get a
green
PDF
back.
of the book.
It's a green back to the book. It's
Yeah.
green. That's great.
You can go to Amazon and get the book from Amazon as well if you want a physical copy. But guys, natural tree care, it's so important that we create, healthy trees, because those trees can create healthy environment that we're breathing. So, Andy, natural tree care, brother.
First of all, I would like to say, don't go to Amazon and look for my book. You're going to find 100 other books that say, don't panic, it's organic. None of them are it. It's only one by Andy Lopez, Invisible Gardener. That's why if you go to my website, I'd rather you go there, sign up for the newsletter, then go to the store. You'll see a book, click on it. It takes you to the website page on Amazon, allows you to buy from the right person. Because I look at it and I go, oh, don't panic, it's organic. This is don't panic, it's organic. That, not by me. And people have bought it. And I says, well, is my name on the book? No, I thought it was, I didn't know. And they bought the book. See, so anyway,
People have to be more observant, Andy. Definitely. But yeah, if they go to your website, which is on the screen, guys, you can access it there. Then you're going to know you're getting the right book.
So while you're there, see, I have this book, Don't Panic, It's Organic, but you can get it just because you're a fan of ours here. You get the PDF version or ebook version, the digital version, for free. All you have to do is a few loops you got to jump. Basically, I would love for you to sign up to get my newsletter, right? I would love it if you go up to my YouTube channel and follow, like, all those things, because that all helps, right? Of course, you should already have done it here, but you don't have to do that. But the way I can send you the new, because basically it's email. And if you send me email, if you figure out my email, because my email is, I get 30,000 emails the other day and I can't find you, okay? Because I think I made a mistake and put my email on my website. It got sold on the black market. I get, holy cow, 38,000 emails. I never made it past 2,000. I'm going, okay, next. Delete. I find delete all of it. So if it comes from my website, it means, basically I have a box that says, if my website sends it to me, it goes right there and I get it. And I'll click on right away. I'll click on basically it's inquiry form. You sign up for it there, I know. And I would do a return mail to you. I click on your email immediately. I send you and what I'm doing, I'm being very generous today lately, because I have about 4 ebooks that you're going to get.
Yeah,
I had talked about that before, because one of them has to do with bricks. It's a refractometer book, really, really good book. A friend of mine told me I can give it out to him. I think he may have died. My book, Don't Panic, It's Organic. My other book called Natural Pest Control Alternatives for the Chemicals for the Home and Garden. And one more book I probably should tell you is called Remineralization.
Cool.
Another friend of mine says, give the ebook away. She got 4 books right there. And the Don't Panic, It's Organic book has a book within the book. It's called Dances with Ants, because that's a separate book you can get, see? But it's within the book. So anyway, that's how you get. And if you had the book, we'll be talking about the chapter on natural tree care. And what I want you to do is think of this as a class, which I'm also getting ready to do an online workshop. I do a virtual house calls. I love what I'm really, really good at. And when I used to go give talks to schools and colleges, and of course, Eco Expo, that expo, and people will say, my tree has this, or my plants have that. That is what they want, because I can talk to them about what to do. And so I can, if you've been here last week and the week before, you know what I'm going to get to, right? Go right to, what does it say above your head?
It's all about the biology.
Exactly right. I'm going to put your voice up higher, because you sound like a little angel to me. I can't tell. Say something now.
It's all about the biology.
There you go. Oh, that is really nice.
Well, Andy, you have to remember, brother, I was actually a disc jockey
Oh, me too.
for about 4 years. I did road shows and partied.
Oh,
I got
cool.
paid to go out and get
You want
all
to hear my? You want to
housed
hear
up.
my? You want? I was a DJ in the Armed Forces radio station.
Cool.
You want to hear my? You want to hear my DJ voice?
Sure. Give it
Okay,
to us.
wait a second. Wait a second. Here we go. Ready? You're listening to KNY, home of the good guys.
Yeah, I
That's
like
right.
it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, my
Yes,
show was
sir.
#1 for 2 years in the Armed Forces radio, and I played Leroy's Golden Rocks. If you want to be happy for it. Anyway, sorry guys, I digress.
We got sidetracked. Okay, natural tree care. Yes.
One of the things I got the most email from is, Andy, you didn't mention what trace metals was mineral. I want to go out and buy that trace metals. I said no. So I'm going to go over this one more time because see, all the tree diseases are very like much the fruit tree diseases. They're trees, right? That's like the radio voice, Andy. There. Thank you. It's very, it's my Navy outfit, Navy sailor. Hey, baby, like that voice.
Okay, trees are trees, right?
Right, and so the genetics and the structure, the way it works, is the same. It's just have different labels. The fruit trees have fruit, and the trees don't have fruit. But the diseases and pests and everything that happens are the same condition, which are what? You don't have your soil biology working. It's not
Now,
functioning.
I got to question one thing,
Oh,
brother.
boy, no.
Okay, trees, you're saying, some trees don't have fruit, but isn't their fruit their offspring, their seed? Isn't that
Yes, sir. I meant fruit
fruit
that you eat. I meant fruit that you eat.
you could eat? Okay.
Yeah. All trees have some all trees have some kind of fruit because basically that's their seed pod. That's the way they produce a seed and so on. And the food comes with the seed, so the seed gets to eat the biology when it's in the ground, so it can have something to grow on. Exactly right. Yeah. But when we talk about fruit trees, we talk about trees that produce the seed on the tree that we can eat.
Yes.
So now we're not going to eat a pine cone, right?
I don't know, man. There's some pretty weird people out there. You just never.
So there are some interest, even though a pine cone is one of the best medicines you can get. Okay, the pine, because the pine tree is an amazing tree. I mean, all these trees are actually everything on the planet is absolutely amazing. They all have unique skills and unique abilities once you tap into that, which is really cool. That's what you want to do. So the first thing you have to we have talked a little bit about is the biology. So I can explain to you all the time, you need this army, this invisible army that's in the ground, that's working all day, working on, all those things. But
they need building blocks, which is the trace minerals. So where are we getting these trace minerals from, Andy? Because that was the real question was, how are you getting them, or where are they coming from? Because you always talk about adding trace minerals.
So the thing that I'm trying to get across to people is that there are 96 different trace minerals. You might be able to buy some of these trace minerals and sources, right? You might be like C90, okay? You're only going to get 90 trace minerals. You're going to miss the 6. Those 6 are called exotic trace minerals for a reason. And guess what the reason is?
Because they are hard to get. But
we can't find this stuff.
Yeah, you told us before. You've shown us the website. So maybe show that website again, Andy, if you can bring it up. Because we've covered this, guys. If you go back in the history of this show and type in trace minerals, you're going to find episodes where Andy has described this in greater detail. But Andy, if you can quickly bring up that website.
I don't know what website you're talking about, dude. I don't even know who you are. So you said, I don't know who is this? Oh my God.
Oh man, your brain went invisible, Andy. Yeah.
So what show are we talking about? Was it a trace minerals show?
Yes, we've talked about trace minerals on several different shows. And there was a website where you were sending us to I think there was only one of the exotics that wasn't on their website, but most of the exotics were on their website.
Told me because I don't know. It's like I pretty much I buy stuff from all over the place. Every morning I get up, I look at my truck. It has my name on it, so that helps a lot. I'm going around going, oh.
Okay, guys. Well, to get that website, you're gonna have to actually go back to those episodes on trace minerals. Watch them, give them a thumbs up.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Okay, so there's 90. So C90, you know, you're getting 90 trace minerals.
Yes.
If you buy one particular rock dust like azonite, okay, so that's going to be missing about 20 or something trace minerals, azonite. And then you get glacial rock dust. That's maybe missing about 13 or 14 trace minerals. So basically, if you get rock dust, if you get rock dust from all over the place, you're going to be finding that none of them are complete diets, so to speak. None of them have these exotic trace minerals.
Yeah.
One of them was very easy to determine, which I'll give you an exotic trace mineral that you all know, gold. Gold, G-O-L-D. Our body needs gold. The brain needs gold. Yeah, we need gold. The trees, the plants, the biology needs gold. So that's an exotic trace mineral. Exotic. Too much, you're dead. And there are few other trace minerals. If you think about it, like cadmium. So cadmium is considered a heavy metal that's toxic, right?
Yeah.
I missed that by the cannabis and refractometer.
He's using the refractometer on his cannabis.
Hey, Super Nessie, what Brix level did you have it? Did you get it at?
Okay, well, there's a question for Super.
She brought it up. She says she's been using the refractometer and the cannabis sap, so she must know like that in her brain. Oh, it was a 22.
Well, Super Nessa is the one that taps a whole variety of trees to get the trace minerals brought up by those specific trees, which is exactly what Andy is getting at with, having these different exotics. This is another way that Super is using to get those.
Very good.
Just think of a tree root. That tap root goes a long ways down.
Going to have a different reading. Each tree it's different. If it's a different tree and they have different qualities, they're going to have different readings. So you have to learn for that tree what is a healthy sign. Usually, what happens is if the tree is doing something, they got it together because they take care of themselves first.
If they're healthy. You can get healthy material from them.
So as a person, as a gardener, as a person that wants to get as much trace minerals as possible, you don't go down the route of being a chemist. It's missing traces of this. You buy 2 pounds of this, 2 pounds of that. The bottom line is you're not going to be able to come up with these 6 exotic trace minerals because there's one reason for this. It's simply one reason. Only Mother Nature can make these trace mineral combinations for you. Only the soil biology can do this for you. You cannot get it. You cannot say, "Oh, I want some of this. I want some of it." They don't sell it because humans cannot make this stuff. It's only made by the soil biology. Certain biological functions out there take this. You go, ta-da! And you go, whoa, and that's what's needed. And you can't get that. So you have to get it out of your head. I'm going to find whatever that trace mineral is. I stopped telling people, okay, I can give you a list of trace minerals, but you're not going to find it listed anywhere. You never see it on your fertilizer bag. You may have 5 things up there. Maybe I've never seen calcium on an organic fertilizer bag, even though they do have a wider range of trace minerals. But I know they have the nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. And they probably have copper, it might be the 4th one, or sometimes they have magnesium as a 4th.
Silica is some of them. But guys, this is something that I talk about. The different cells do different jobs, and part of those jobs is making things like oxidates, amino acids. They bring all these molecules together to create these compounds that go back into our soils. So, like Andy's saying, you can't buy this stuff. Only the plant and the biology can create it through the cells that build those building blocks. They got to be all brought together in a specific way to get that specific compound. It's just not done in nature. But Andy, sorry, I just wanted to
I forgot what I was going to say. I was trying to remember it. I grasped it and it flew off.
Oh, man.
Here's the thing. So we talk a lot about carbon. and that the
Yes.
soil biology needs carbon. See, they use carbon to convert it to carbonic acid. That is the acid that they use on all these things to sort of come up with that. See what I mean? That is so cool because when I first ever heard about carbon sequestrations and all that stuff, right? They say they take carbon, and that's what Mother Nature's been taking carbon. And there's no coincidence. We give off, all living things give off carbon. You know, and the plants, they give off oxygen. They breathe in the carbon. So in one way, the O2 levels, CO2 levels rising on the earth is good for plants because they go, oh, more carbon, right? More. But they take, in the soil, they take carbon, they make carbonic acid. And that's how that's their main tool. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. These plants go together and boom, they got this. So the diseases, so you have two things that you should do, which I always teach it is basically short-term solutions and long-term solutions. Now you must know that the long-term solution is always the one that takes long-term, takes time.
Yeah.
What is that? That's I tell people the soil, the biology needs time to heal. It's not going to happen overnight. I have so many experiences with customers or ex-customers because after a while you go, I am not interested in this game anymore because you are complaining about this disease and yet you're not going to do any of the basics that I tell you to do. Because when I was doing this, I would do it. So this is the disease, this is what's going on. This is what I would do, and I'll charge you to do it. But as I got older, I realized you're not really helping these people. You want them to get into doing this. This is something that they do. It's just like when they go drink, when you're cooking something, you follow the recipe. You get good at cooking that, you do it. Like people will make compost. There's a certain way that they have to do it, and they'll get better at it, and their compost production will be very good for the health of the soil, right? So
the only problem is a lot of people don't want to put in the effort, Andy. They just want the quick fix and buy it, and it's done. But there isn't a quick fix in nature. Mother Nature doesn't work at lightning speed.
So I have this customer. I went there twice, but this first I went there once, and she contacts me the next day. I don't see anything. It costs a lot of money. It still looks the same to me. And I went there, and it's fortunate I take before, during, and after pictures, and it helps a little bit.
Wise choice.
It doesn't really show you the colors of the leaves and stuff, but you can tell if a tree had nothing, then the tree had more leaves, and the tree had wood. That's what's good about it. So I showed her, this is your tree. This is your tree before, during, and remember, this is only 1 month.
Yeah.
And this is after. And if you look, you will see the tree goes, because before it was there going, I don't think I'm going to make it too much longer. Who are you? Are you God? God is a human being. Oh my God. I thought God was a tree. And so
the Grim Reaper.
It happens to me so I told the lady, you don't see it because you're here.
Yes.
The place can be beautiful. That's what happens. A lot of times I get these places looking gorgeous. And then they say, why are you coming here again?
We don't need you anymore, man. It's all good now. Bye.
And then I go, oh. Well, it's because look around. It's what I'm doing. And the only reason they're surviving is because you're doing the opposite that I want you to do. And what I'm doing keeps bringing it back, but it's going to look, it will look amazing and fantastic if we actually were on the same plane doing things. In other words, if you will stop bringing, because that's what I do now is I don't make them sign a contract, but I'm getting close to where you're going to get rid of the chemical pest control company. You're going to sign a contract with me saying you're not going to use any chemical fertilizer. You're going to get a whole property filtration system, right? And then you're going to actually buy the best compost on the planet. You're going to whether so in our case here, I send them to the lake. Okay. Yeah. So in my case, when I was doing it, I made the best compost on the planet. So when I was doing it, I tell people, I make the best compost on the planet. I'm going to sell you. I got the guys. We're going to do the most. Bada bing, we do it. Bada boom. Then you're going to get the results because when I spray, the biology moves into this compost. This compost inoculates the soil, expands the biology further, and then they actually survive longer to the point where you can actually see mycelium growing because mushrooms start popping up.
Yeah, yeah, and
So
that
hopefully,
as soon as you see mushrooms, you can see, oh, hey, I have starting to have life in my soil.
so people will call me this. So they say, "Oh my God, there are mushrooms growing in the lawn.
Hey,
Oh,
man, do I eat it?
I've been out there pulling it and throwing it away. You must have something to do with it." I said, "Yes, ma'am. I do because in my liquids there are mushroom spores in there, and the
Yeah,
reason why is the mushrooms tell me if the mushroom comes up, there's mycelium that's growing on there. If the mycelium is growing, it means it says, okay, everything's good here. Just keep it up, and it'll get better and better and better. The roots will, what will happen is the roots are the mycelium as it starts to grow heals the roots, and the roots send a signal to the tree. Hey, guess what? And other trees around go, hey, because they can sense what
well,
it's
and they can,
mycelium is back.
Andy. Like
Yes, sir.
I was a truck driver, so I understand logistics and moving things around. And when I see mycelium and that network, it's like a super highway for molecules moving from one plant to another.
Right.
And the more you have, the more connected you
Yeah,
are,
right.
the
Exactly
more
right.
they can be shared out to other plants.
Right,
Like
right.
your oak tree brings up, say, selenium, and
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah,
need it. It's got an overabundance. It
yeah.
can send it to
Of
another
course.
plant.
That's the way it works. That's the way. It's
Yeah,
the same thing in our body. In our human body, we have the same mycelium network. It's not
yeah,
called mycelium, but it's the same network. God,
yes,
whoever says, hey, this works for here, we're going to put this in all living beings. They're all going to have this mycelium network in their brain. That mycelium network does the very same thing in your body. You need this, you need that. It creates whatever you need in your body. It's
yeah.
totally, absolutely, and we are connected to that. We are connected to that.
As long as we're giving our bodies the nutrients, the building blocks necessary, but that starts, especially in our soils. If you're consuming those foods, you want those building blocks to come through the plant or through the animal because that's better for your body. They're already broken down. I can't eat rock dust. I can't eat
Oh,
it,
you
man.
can't.
It,
It's
it gets in
delicious.
my teeth,
Rock,
and I
rock
just
has a little bit of honey on it. Crunchy, crunchy, very nice. And it cleans out your stomach. You can see the little yeah. I love it, man. Yeah, it's my favorite thing to do.
yeah.
Trees microdose the soil with sap. Yes, ma'am. I'm
And
glad you hit
it's
upon
a
sap.
he, okay? Just to give you an idea, it's a male, okay, Super NASA.
Oh, okay. I would say yes, sir. I'm glad you
Okay,
came upon that because the trees. I've always been fascinated with trees because of the sap,
yeah,
and the sap is one of the most amazing things that the trees do. And we have a kind of a sap ourselves, slightly different. We call it blood, but it does the same function. But the trees are they're like giant weeds. They're basically like giant weeds, and they're medicinal plants. That's basically what they do. They pull things up not only from the soil but from the air, right? From the air itself. The mycelium network is as big as a forest. As a matter of fact, it's large. The largest organism in the world is a big mycelium plant.
yeah, yeah. I think it's in Oregon, and it's
Yeah,
hectares and hectares
yeah,
large. It's
and it's
amazing
millions of
because
years old.
it's supposed to be that way across our planet. The network is supposed to exist. Just look at a computer network. Look at our brains network. This is supposed to exist across our planet because of pesticides, herbicides, chemical usage that has been destroyed. Just working up the soil has destroyed it. It's really hard for our planet to know what's going on if it's
And
not connected anymore.
and it's a slow process. This
Yeah.
thing with the soil biology, it's the slowest process on the planet. It's not like the sun day and night fast. It's not even
Hmm.
like a year fast. Mother Nature has millions of years that these things go on. It's just never ending, the cycle stuff. And so when you think of the time frame that us humans have been here and what we managed to do to the earth, in the tiny little bit of time we managed to do to the whole cycle of the earth. That's why I tell people, look, it's not the earth is in trouble. We are.
Yeah.
we're in serious trouble if we don't wake up and smell the fire, right?
Proverbial coffee. Yeah. We got to wake up.
So one of the things that I want to get across to everybody is that, okay, so you have to key into the biology first. You have to look and see. You have to be ideally you want to send it off to a lab. I think we had talked about a lab that will tell you what biology it has. Leighton, you can connect with him because he has a really good lab that he communicates with a lot in the sense tells you what the names of them are. It doesn't. You're gonna if your soil is rich in biology, you're gonna get massive amounts of name, which will do you no good at all. Oh, look, I can't pronounce these things, right? So they're not going to do you any good. So you don't have to base it on that getting a soil lab. What you want to do is you want to do things that you know that increases the biology.
Yeah.
Those
Well,
things you can
anything
do.
that increases the life, whether that's our biology in our bodies or in our soils, the more biology, the more chance of all those components coming together to build the perfect cell. And you can reach genetic potential, but you have to have that diversity of biology and diversity of building blocks. And Andy, you mentioned it earlier just briefly, the compost. You're using compost for long term, but you're also mulching on top of the compost to hold the life in the compost. If you don't mulch, especially in like California with the Santana winds, drying it out, you lose all that. So you have to mulch your compost. Don't use your compost as your mulch.
So this maybe we should do a show on mulch because see, people are a little confused about compost and mulch and the real reason why you have mulch. See, mulch is, to me, of course, mulch, the obvious is that it protects the compost from the soil, and the obvious is that it's geared to hold water. The not so obvious is that the mycelium love the mulch. The mycelium will move into the mulch, and you'll find this fine white hair on the mulch. And that's a really cool way to transfer stuff because what I would do is take some of the mulch, put it in a box in the ground, and let the mycelium move in, and then take it and mulch another place. And if you have the proper compost there and the proper mulch, it'll spread. What I do is I use one of my books, which is one of the books you get free. It's called Natural Pest Control Alternatives to Chemicals for the Home and Garden. There's a tree section there, and the tree section shows you what I call tree vents. VENTS.
Actually, Lily was asking a question about that. Let's go and look at the question.
About pipes.
Is there a home in the tree that has a black knot? No, it's this one here. Andy, what do you think about the pipes people place by the tree for aeration? And you've talked about this quite a bit.
First of all, these plastic pipes are no good, no bueno. So you have these PVC pipes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the biology is not they're gonna touch it and go, why? Hey, George, we gotta go. We can't stay here. And so that was a very clever way of getting water down deeper.
Yeah.
So and it has holes in it, so let it aerate. It actually was good to. What it does is that it sucks in air. See, because you want it. A lot of times when you have in California and other places, you have hard pan, or we have a situation where there used to be soil, but there isn't soil anymore. You have the subsoil, which is super hard rock, and the plants are growing in it. One of the reasons why the biology dies is it doesn't get oxygen. Normally, the soil would suck in the air. See, and so, but I call them tree vents because what I do is I use clay drain pipes.
Yeah, and that's the difference. It's clay is natural, plastic isn't.
And the clay, this is paramagnetic.
Yes. Yeah.
And the paramagnetism is very unique in nature. That means you don't have a north and south pole in your magnetism. Okay. Very similar to humans. You may say we have a north and south pole, but not really. And there are other things in nature that do not have a north and south pole. So when you use a paramagnetic product like this clay, and you put
Mhm.
it. What I do is at 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. That's a circle around the drip line of a tree. The roots normally go out like that. So you want to place it in there. And ideally, you have a drip line with a whole property filtration drip system. So you have clean filtered water going through this. Ideally, this is ideal scenario. You have a fertigation unit that you hook up your drip line to, so where the water flows through, it's siphoning some of this nice liquid that's going on there. I made tea bags and put them in there and let the tea go through. And the fertigation unit is normally made for chemicals as a tiny little hole. So you can get a screwdriver and a screw basically, and very gently drill. Because I did it too fast because it's basically a big
Made too big of a hole.
Well, it's sort of like plastic. It's very thick. Not plastic, but I don't know what it is. But yeah, if you go too fast, it melts it. So you have to go real slow.
For anybody that doesn't understand the principle, if you've ever seen the commercials where you can wash your car and they put on that bottle for the soap, that's the same basic principle. As the water passes through, it literally draws up what's in that bottle.
Right.
And what Andy's saying is what you put in that bottle is like a compost tea. That's where he said, he put tea bags in there. So
when I started doing this in the 6th grade, I immediately figured out how to infuse, because I'm hosing with a hose. I'm going, wouldn't it be great if I'm watering, I'm also doing something that's going out? And so they made this device. It's a brass device.
Yep.
It actually screws into your bib.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a here's a device that screws in, but here's a little bedangle that you take your hose, and it's kind of tiny little siphon hose that goes this way into a bucket. So whatever you put in the bucket will get siphoned out as the water flows through, because you hook up the hose to it, and you're limited to a 100-foot hose. But basically, as you spray, it sucks it out. And then
it's like a paint sprayer with the bucket, right?
Yeah, right. So you can even put a tip on it, start spraying. So for the longest time, the Invisible Gardener was going to people's homes, hooking it up to the hose, and hooking it to the thing and spraying. Yeah. And so in those days, I didn't know about that. The city water was so toxic. Maybe in those days they didn't do the fluoride thing.
I don't think it was. It wasn't that toxic back then. It's in the last 20, 30 years that it's really.
Because I remember that the water. I don't remember anything. Well, I don't remember anything.
That's not our problem. Okay, that's your problem.
So I'm pretty. I know that I was doing that, and I remember. I don't remember it. I don't remember it being understanding as toxic as some, like you said, maybe 30, 40 years ago, even something somewhere in there, because I've always been promoting. What's the point of growing biology if the liquid, the water you use is killing
it? Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? So nothing's going to happen. And so, but not solely. So when I got out of the service, I wanted to do the same thing. So I doing some little research, and I found that this company called, there's a couple of different companies on the market now. And it's a fertigation unit. Fertilizer and irrigation, the two combined together. So the units are made for all chemicals to go in. There's a tiny little, for these chemicals, you dilute it 1,000 to 1. It's a dilution of 1,000 to 1, right? 1,000 to 1. And it gets a little wet and siphons the liquid out, right? So what I do is I change it to 100 to 1, which is a little better for biology to flow through. To put compost, you can put compost tea in there. It goes under pressure. So if you look at your sprinkler system, it's pressurized. So you basically have to fill it up to the top, no air, no compressor, but it siphons it, pushes it out. And so I started early on learning about the different companies that sell liquid biology stuff, because that's why one of the things that I was spraying. Right? I was doing my spraying service for people. And I was too young to even know how to make compost, Great point, Andy. What is the use of building up nitrogen in your soil if you're going to destroy it with water? By the way, this is a 3-minute talk right there, okay? When you do your shorts, you should say what I just said, because I'm going to use. And so, who are you? What am I doing? Honey, where are
we,
you?
we were talking about, drawing up the biology, but we have well, let's see, that one
No,
we
you
can
don't.
get rid of, but we have a couple of questions here. It looks like my hosta leaves are drying out on the edges, then inward. What causes this? Is it underwatering or something else? And Serena, it's fall, so that could be part of it too. The nights are getting colder, and my leaves are turning. It's that might be it. But Andy, you know more about hostas than I ever will, so maybe there's something
They don't.
else going on.
They don't like the cold. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And if the nights drop below, usually the soil temperature has a lot to do with it. So these plants would prefer 70 degrees. Most plants, even marijuana, so forth, prefer 70-degree soil at night.
Mm-hmm.
So when it drops down to 50, 40, 30, whatever it is, so you didn't mention the temperatures or anything, but that has a lot to do with it too, because the colder it is, the drier it will get, and the more things will get burned from the coldness.
Yeah. Well, and
Right?
that's a normal thing every fall, like especially like I don't know, you might not get it so much in California, Andy, but in Canada where I am, our trees, as soon as that temperature starts dropping down, the leaves do start, drying up. It's a natural process going into fall. And like I've never been down east and really noticed, but I guess the oak trees and the beautiful different colors down there are something to see. But we don't have that in Alberta. They just generally go yellow and they're
That's what I
done.
liked about Fayetteville, Arkansas. When I used to give a talk, it was in the fall, plane coming in. It was beautiful. You don't get that here in California and Florida. I don't think you get that kind of, you know. That's what I liked about upstate New York.
Yeah.
Wonderful, But those are changing colors that have to do with the season and stuff. So you probably have something to do with the season here in terms of that, because it's really not a trace mineral deficiency. It has to
Yeah.
do with the temperature of the soil, temperature of the air.
Yeah.
That does that.
Well, and
Yeah.
that's why, like, if you're doing indoor growing, especially through a colder season, you're adding heat into the environment so that doesn't happen. But outside in nature, that's just the way it is, baby.
So what I want to get across, make sure that you guys don't concentrate so much on a particular trace mineral. Not going to work.
Yeah.
So you want to concentrate. The way Mother Nature works, she blends it together. It's this kind of soup that's like everything. Throw it in there, throw it, stir it up. And that way you're bound to get what you need. It's not like, what if I overfeed it all this stuff? No, they'll take what they need. The rest of it can either be distributed out to other people or somebody will end up using it.
Well, you might even actually have the biology create biology that's missing in your system, because all of a sudden it has the components that create that biology. It's an amazing thing how the system works, man.
And that would be the thing. See, so once you start to have a balanced diet in your body, then you're going to have a balance. Your body will be balanced out. It'll get everything it needs. And that's what you were talking about, the plants and the trees. And the trees are a little bit slower to respond. Yeah, we need them all, and the ones we don't know of yet. Exactly right.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
It's the ones that we don't know of yet that is the kicker. That's the point of the sword. So you may have the strongest sword in the world, but if your tip is no good, you're not going to get very far with it. And that tip is the one that you really don't know. So the only way you have to say only one person knows, and that's
Mother Nature. And if we work with the biology, give them the components. That's where, if you've never heard the term quorum sensing, it's where the biology gets enough volume together, generally in aggregates under the soil, that they can literally create biology that doesn't exist in your plant, in your soil system.
Right. And that's
they
what we
can
talk
create
about.
It. But they have to have the building blocks, which is the trace minerals.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about, because you have these exotic trace minerals. The only way it's going to happen, they're going to build it. They're going to create this. They have all the components. Wham! They have this particular component that does that particular trace mineral.
Yeah.
See what I mean? So you can't say, I am going to make this component for this trade. No, you're going to say, here it is, everything you need, go for it, and you'll see that that component will show up because.
And then the biology is going to create what's actually needed. Let them do the job that Mother Nature created them for. We just got to give them the components.
It's ridiculous to think that we're going to do what Mother Nature does because we can't.
Well, Andy, considering that the biology can read and understand DNA to create these new entities in our soils, in our own bodies, we can't do that. Our supercomputers can't do that, but the biology can.
So
like, get out of the road.
So what the other thing is that we're, as human beings, we will benefit from this philosophy also.
Oh, yeah, 199%.
You want to learn how to provide for your biology, your body's biology, your stomach biobeing, everything that it needs, rather than concentrating on a few things that it doesn't need. Because I have these guys that work for me, and they're constantly eating. Yesterday, one guy had 5. Can I say it? Okay, Coca-Cola drinks, Coca-Cola drinks, right?
Okay, yeah, soda pop. Yeah,
soda pop, right? And they all would buy all the different kinds of soda. Do you want something? I go, why don't you drink this stuff? I go, well, first of all, it's not real. Secondly, it's toxic. Thirdly, there's so much chemicals in there, it doesn't kill you right away. So it'll kill you later on down the road. And so I know a lot of friends who are liver, kidney, brain, all kinds of damages because of this stuff. Not just this, but most of the food you eat out there, it's toxic. It's not even real food. Mm-hmm. So and what you put in is what you get out. Same thing with your soil. What you put in is what you get out. If you don't give it anything, Mother Nature does that. Mother Nature says, no, give it to me, I'll take care of it. But if you don't do it, I have to have the tools to work with. Go away and I'll take care of it myself. Otherwise, get out of the way and let me do my job. That's right. And same thing with the bodies, same thing. So the parallel is amazing because you'll learn. Maybe if I stop eating junk food into my stomach, maybe the stomach will one day go, wow. Right? Maybe
if I stop telling the biology in my gut, maybe my gut will go, oh yeah, hey man, I can do my job.
Rather than going to a doctor and say, okay, take these pills twice a week, and you're gonna have to resubscribe it, every 30 days, buy the pills, show up over here, and I'll x-ray you, I'll make sure that you stay on this path because that's the path I want you to do. Come here every week, give me money every month, and I'm not gonna tell you, well, maybe you should stop doing that. I tell people, maybe you should stick your hand. Okay, you're complaining about your hands burning. Maybe you should move your hand out of the fire. Because
that would make sense.
I have people that are like, this tree is sick. I can tell. Yes. What can I spray to deal with it? And so, it's like they don't want to hear me say, that's not the answer. I've had people complain. Don't have them come because they'll tell you don't have an ant problem, you have a soil problem. How ridiculous is that? They would say it's ridiculous. So of course I have an ant problem. It's like
I got ants everywhere. I have an ant problem.
There are ants everywhere. They're coming in the house. They have the children hostage. My dog can't breathe. It's like and it's like and they treat the soil biology. They don't even acknowledge the soil biology. They don't even acknowledge the heart biology. People, I haven't heard anybody recently say, "I love my biology that's in my body. I love my biology. I will do whatever it's." I myself am constantly telling my body, "Hey guys, how you doing? What's happening?"
Peace, man. Yeah.
I'm really sorry about eating that the other day. I didn't mean to do that. The lady gave it to me, and it's like, oh. So I try, and it's like they do not get it. And I've lost a lot of friends who have died because they didn't get it. Their body says, "I'm out."
Yeah. Well, you got to think about it, Andy. Like most people know that, arsenic, if you take too much arsenic, you're going to die, in a short time. But yet, if you only take a one molecule of it every day in every soda and every hamburger and all the preservatives. It's the accumulation over time. They're not telling us about the small amounts because
So
they don't need to tell you they're putting that in,
so
everything now.
just today,
Yeah.
I had these workers who work for me, so they want lunch, and so I stopped trying to get them to eat healthy food, lettuce and stuff like that. I said fine. So they go to this place. It's a doesn't matter what kind of food it is. You can have any country in there you want, okay? But there's a country south of us that's the one that they go to, that particular M food, right? And so they buy this, this food. And I said, okay. He says, how come you don't eat this stuff? I says, I already explained it to you. Like the corn that's the tortilla is made of, it's not real corn. It's some genetically modified stuff with Roundup in it and thousands of different kinds of chemicals in it. The food you're getting inside the meat and all that stuff is nothing but toxic stuff. So you have this toxic thing that you're eating. And let's just say, oh, we don't eat it every day, he says. I don't eat it every day, maybe once or twice a week. Okay, so how many weeks are in a year? 52. Let's just do one.
Yep.
She just ate 52 times she ate this junk in your body. Multiply it. How many years have you been doing this? I'm surprised you're not dead now. As a matter of fact, you are a little zombie looking now. This guy was so bad. I need another Coca-Cola. Oh, sorry, another soda.
Mm-hmm.
I need another. It's like he couldn't. It was a typical druggy thing. I need my hit. Give me my hit. Sugar.
Yeah.
Then they add salt to it. So you don't get me going because this is. And so, yeah, and it's the same thing with the biology. The sprinkler system go on several times a week. Multiply that by a year. Multiply that by years. No wonder that the soil biology is dead because nobody's doing anything to counteract that. They buy a filtration system for the house. I'm not going to take a bath in that. I'm not going to drink that water. No, but it's okay to water my roses and water my property with it. Hey, you. Hey, yeah, you.
Yeah. The wife's going. Are you going to get to the other question? Because
bring
it's a question from her. So I'm got to wait for her to get upstairs to make sure she sees that I put the question up, or else I get into trouble.
Okay. I know what you mean.
Okay. She should be upstairs, back at her computer. So Andy, is there any hope for a tree that has the black knot? And I'm not going to try to pronounce that, but it's a fungus.
Okay. So here's the thing. Okay. So the first thing you have to do is a triage. Get it, the triage. I love that. So what is a triage? It's you have to do something immediately to keep that poor person from dying, right? Whether the arm, leg cut off, whatever, stop the blood, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the best thing to do is what's called a foliar application.
Now, okay, let's get back to the main question.
Yeah.
Can we actually, because it's already got this black knot, can it actually be saved?
Yes.
So yes, that is the answer is yes, it can be saved.
The thing you have to realize is that you're not going to cure it of this problem. You're going to control it to the point where the tree survives and thrives. Same thing with cancer in human beings. Everybody has cancer cells. It's the biology that keeps it at bay. And that's what we're going to do. So it takes a while to get the biology going because where's the biology?
Right? Well, it's lacking in our soil there.
Right. It's supposed to be down there. So that's going to take a while. So you can't expect this tree to wait until things start to happen. So you have to do something immediately. That's why it's called foliar application. That's misleading too because you also spray the trunk. The biology will absorb through the trunk, through the leaves, right? Anything I like to spray the trunk. When you see it, what you want is the biology to spray on contact with whatever the disease it is. It may be this one, maybe another one, but a lot of times they affect the trunk. A lot of times they affect the leaves. You get the soil biology in contact with these guys. right? You say the soil biology in contact with the disease. So they started a little war going on right there. And so what happens is when you do that, the trees start to absorb all these minerals that you're giving them. First of all, you're not using fertilizers. You're not doing nitrogen. Trees do not need nitrogen. They need the 96 trace minerals in the friendly way that they can absorb it. You see what I'm saying? So that's why it's important that you either learn, if you make compost, you got to make. Okay, so you should have to make the best compost you make on the planet, with trace minerals in and worms. That's why I do a worm farm. I know that you can't beat the worms at producing the stuff. Okay, so I can't make compost. So I do a worm farm. The worm gives me the liquid, the biology in the worm juice is what allows me to feed it C90 and a bunch of other stuff and let it break down to where it's in the form that when I spray it on the trunk, spray it on the leaves, they get it. And I soak the ground with it, right? So it's 3 things. Just soaking the ground doesn't really help because what you need, but it helps to some degrees because you want to get it. There are root hairs along the top of the roots, and they'll get some of this, and you deep root feed it so it gets down to the deeper roots on there. But you have to start applying compost to your dead soil products down there, right? You don't have soil, you have some kind of hard clay, whatever it is. So you have to start changing the structure of the soil that the tree is in. That is going to take years. You have to apply compost, rock dust, and mulch on a regular basis. By compost, when I mean rock dust, I mean some sources of trace minerals. Rock dust are really cool because you get a wide variety of sources of rock dust. Gives you the blend. C90, you got 90 trace minerals right there. It's a good starting point. But what you really need is to have it. You make it in your compost. You get that compost to eat first, rather than putting the rock dust on the plant, on the soil, right? So when you're making compost, you add a couple of sources of rock dust. You have a little bit of C90 you sprayed with. There are lots of other organic fertilizers on the market that are basically a rock dust blend. Fertrell, Fertrell. I would look it up. Because it's a place in New Jersey. And they get
Andy, a lot of the problem is, brother.
I know you're in Canada.
Something to Canada from the U.S. It's crazy. Our dollar isn't worth as much as yours, and then there's duties and handling. It's crazy, man. Every time I buy something from the U.S., it costs me an extra $50.
Yeah. So one of the things that I would do is go up to their website and see what they have in terms of ingredients, and then look for sources of those type of ingredients in your area. Now, there's a really cool magazine that's done by organic farmers who basically have millions of acres, right? And I recommended it before because it's not just limited to the United States. So if you get that magazine, it's called Acres USA, Acres, ACRES USA.com. They sold my first book, How to Heal the Planet in Your Spare Time. It's an amazing newsletter, but they also have resources in the back. And you just look up something in Canada. Oh, look, this is right down the road. And so I would do is buy their products because they concentrate on the biology. They sell amazing products that you can use. I also get stuff from Down to Earth, which is I think it's in Canada too.
Actually, it's really hard to get their products in Canada because they're a U.S. company, and there's a lot of stuff that is really difficult to get up here, Andy. That
you just have to get it. It's in Canada. You have to concentrate, but not just Canada. Wherever country you're in, first thing I would do is get to know your country. Where stuff can I get here? You see, that's what you want to do. Local stuff. Every country has its own source of rock dust. Because you can't get away from that. So you can go to Ireland, you go wherever you go, bingo, there. You can find people who make compost in your country because they make it for local things, right? You want to get people that are making it in your country. You don't want to buy something shipped to you from Australia. It works great in Australia, but you really have to want to get it for Canada or United States. Yeah. In the United States, is like 10 different countries because they all have different environments you deal with. The desert is very different than the rainforest we have. So, but
I don't know, man. Like we got
yeah,
some rainforest up here, like on the west coast and that, but a lot of it, Andy, like one of my biggest problems and one of the causes of this, guys, because this is my own property we're talking about, is I was actually pulling all my grass clippings off to feed to some chickens. And so I didn't have any organic material. I didn't have any mulch down in my root zone. And my property really dried out over several years. So I finally got mulching more, where I'm putting that mulch and that organic material back in. But it takes time doing it just that way.
Yeah, it's a process of finding other people. That's why I think it's so cool. You can join an organic garden club for your area, because you're going to find lots and lots of people who will do different things, and then that's what you want to key into.
Yeah.
So when I give a talk, I always find the person who makes the best compost for that group, for the because they basically sell it to their gardeners. And when
we have 3 more questions, Andy.
Okay,
and Lily, yeah, she wants to make sure that I put this up. So I've cut off the affected branches. Do I then use a foliar spray come next spring?
You want to learn to use a foliar spray all the time, not just in the spring, as often as you can get away with it.
Oh, we can't do it in the winter, man, because it'll freeze right in the spring.
Of course. It depends where you live and get away with it. Yeah. When I lived in Boulder, you only do it you can even do it in early spring, because some springs are still covered with snow.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah.
That's what I mean. So you have to key into whatever you can get away with. That basically means allow to spray. So you definitely want to do the spraying thing on a regular basis. And it's important that the diseased leaves are picked up and now allowed to go back in the ground, because that's what's returning into the ground. But if you learn to make the you have to realize it's a soil disease. That means there's a problem with the soil biology. So you want to make the compost. Ideally, I think your pH is probably too high. You want to lower the pH down. So when if you just add compost that you make to the ground, your pH is going to be really high, because your compost usually ends up being 7.4 or 7.6, because manure is, especially if you use animal manure, it gets too high.
Yeah.
You want to bring it down. Learn to use an acid mulch. That would work. In your case, tree bark, shredded trees are really good. It's all acid.
The problem is, Andy, these aren't garden beds and stuff. This is just a bloody lawn with a few trees on the on it. So
that's the problem. Yeah.
It's not like we have garden beds that we're actually growing in. Like we've got one, and we don't have problems in that one. We have beautiful flowers, etc., in that one bed, because I focused on that bed. But anyway, we want to get these 2 questions. We only got a couple of minutes left. Can watering in IMO2 work? Yes, anything adding biology in is going to help. I am indigenous microorganisms, guys, is what an IMO is. It's part of the Korean natural farming regiment. So you guys that are interested in that can look it up.
Just make sure that the biology has a housing to live in. Otherwise,
organic material, the mulch and that's very important. That's why I have a mulching mower blades now. So I'm putting that back in on top of the soil for the biology to live in.
Especially any weeds get put right back in again.
Yeah. Kind of like extra microbes, but watered in. Does that help the process?
Of course.
Yes, any biology is going to help the process.
Just remember, filter the water. Otherwise, you're defeating your purpose. You won't get anywhere if the stuff in the water kills biology, which is what you wanted in the water. So if you can't do that, there's a very natural way. You basically expose it to the sun while you're aerating. It will aerate a lot of the chemicals in it. But that helps.
And I don't water my lawn at all, man. I let Mother Nature do that job itself. But
I think
guys, like Silly Lily says, it's all about the biology.
Well, are we done yet, guys? What are we doing?
We got like 10 seconds or 12 seconds left, man.
Do we have another question? So go to my website, check it out, invisiblegardener.com. I'm doing all kinds of things there. Tell me if you want the book, but you get it through the newsletter, okay?
Yes.
Thank you very much, guys. We'll see you next week. I'm not sure what we're talking about, but you'll find out.
Chapter 6 is making the organic transition.
Oh, that's a fun one. That's a fun one. How to get rid of your drug habit.
Pretty much. And guys, the ladies are back with Chiropractic is Sexy. They're back on tomorrow. So you're going to want to check that out tomorrow. And we'll see who's our guest with Leighton on Monday. I'm still got a few people that I'm reaching out to find out which one's actually going to book. It's a constant struggle, guys. A constant struggle to have these people commit. Andy, people just don't like to commit to do what they're doing here. And why are the plants and the trees high? Because of all the weed. Definitely, Serena. Great joke. Guys, we will see you soon. Have a great evening. Love you all.